Robin Hoffman. I'm a public artist here in Charlottesville, but right now I am at a facility that is processing hemp for a multitude of purposes that I'm not really sure of. But I'm going to be interviewing today because I'm interested in fiber materials. And apparently this facility is a processing place. And they have been here for I don't know how long. I don't know exactly what equipment they have or whatever, but I'm gonna be here today to find out. So, speak to you soon. What am I looking at?
This is some cameras. Some.
Everything that you're doing,
Well,
or
this
just
is
some of the things you're doing?
Some stuff. Resale front, storage room, entrance to sanitation. We got gummy room. That's us right there. Formulation kitchen and an extraction room.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I heard you mention, you're interested in the fibers. So what we do at this facility is mainly for cannabinoids. So cannabinoids are CBD, THC, those type of products, typically medicinal or recreational. So we are building out a fiber facility right up the road on a existing poultry operation, and we're converting that into a processing facility. So we have the poultry barns, the 600 feet long barns as our storage for our bales, and we have a litter shed that we're putting concrete, framing out, running the electrical to host our processing line.
Okay, who are you?
I'm Jake, our cultivation director here. Jake Johnson, one of the brothers here at Pure Shenandoah.
And so what is the name of your companies?
So our company name is Pure Shenandoah. We originally started off at Shenandoah Valley Hemp back in 2018, but have since grown into Pure Shenandoah. Typically, everything we do is here in the valley, and we're Pure Company, hence the name Pure Shenandoah.
All right, so can we walk? Maybe you should get Tanner.
Yeah, I'll go grab Tanner because I got to hop into some stuff,
Yes.
but I just wanted to interject real quick, so
Yes.
I'll be right back.
Thank you so much for your help.
Of course.
I just wanted to get quickly, who are you?
My name's Tanner Johnson with Pure Shenandoah.
And when did you come up with this plan of like opening this facility? Just give me a quick scenario about like how you found this place and what you were doing here and what you thought about and how you graduated from JMU.
Yeah. Graduated from JMU. Actually went into the car business for a little bit. I was a used car manager and a finance manager. Learned a lot about people and stuff at that point. I think I was 3.5 years in when my brother moved back from Oregon. He was growing THC, CBD, medical, recreational out on the West Coast for a number of years. And then my other brother, Abner, had just finished up his first semester or so at Virginia Tech when he realized that the hemp laws were changing. So they kind of teamed up and they started coordinating some effort. And then, of course, they were in touch with me at that point, talking about how this could be a great opportunity. So we put our heads together, started to figure out how it could work, and basically it's just like the plant. We started with the seed and worked our way up.
So the chronological, everything that happened, starting from what year to now?
Yeah, pretty much 2018 when the Farm Bill passed is when our whole business kicked off. We started out as Shenandoah Valley Hemp and started to notice that name was a little bit limiting, so we kind of looked at a health and wellness name. We liked Shenandoah as a region and kind of staying in there, so we came up with Pure Shenandoah. And that's now more of like our health and wellness side of our business, using the cannabinoids as the main focal point there. Shenandoah Valley Hemp is our fiber business, which is still in the cannabis family, but obviously on the other side of things, the industrial side for animal bedding, sustainable packaging, hempcrete, all of that good stuff. So we're tackling both at the same time, which there's really only a few companies in the whole world who are actually trying to do both at the same time. And
I have to tell you, you are the processor.
Yep.
And you are the processing place. I can't get anybody else to do it right now in Virginia or locally. But what I want to say is, tell me again, when did you get this facility, what year and all that?
Yeah, so we were looking at a couple different places. We actually found a spot in Bridgewater, kind of fell through at the last second. One of our real estate guys told us to come out to Elkton and check this spot out. And initially we walked around here and it was it's a 12,000 square foot facility. We didn't think we needed all that space, but it was a very affordable price being in Elkton, right at the base of Massanutten. We kind of started to like it. There's a lot of farmland around, so we said, hey, let's see what we can do here. And that 12,000 square feet, it filled up quick.
What year was this?
This was very end of 2019.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
October
so
2019.
You've been here in this building. What was the history of this building, which I think was fascinating?
Yeah, this was one of the coolest little points that we found when we moved in. Is 1921. This building was producing. It was actually the front half. We're in the back half, which was added on a little bit later. But they were producing hemp overalls out of here, which was really, really cool.
Is this
Tons
the
of history.
Levi's
Yeah, so then it was,
company?
I believe, and I could be wrong about some of the history, we actually are going to highlight the history of the building in the front, retail front soon, and it'll be a lot more concrete there. But Casey Jones bought out by Blue Bottom, which was then acquired by Wrangler Jeans. So this was one of the first 5 locations Wrangler Jeans actually made them and produced them. We were doing the renovations and stuff throughout the building and, knocking down walls and doing stuff, and we actually found a stack of back pockets like this thick. It was just the back pockets of the Wrangler pants, and we found like zippers and stuff like in the attic space and random things like that. But
Okay, so and your family now, it's kind of like the way I feel like I'm going to be 66 this year, so I kind of like Sears, Roebuck, and different families came up with ideas for need, like what's really gonna be the thing that we're gonna be able to help the community, but also to inspire more production and for need, not just like arbitrarily.
Right. Yeah, it's all about solutions. And if you ask me, which I am a little bit biased, of course, I don't think there's anything on this planet that can provide as many solutions as the hemp, cannabis, marijuana, that whole family of plant can provide, from the health and wellness side to the overall enjoyment side, all the way to the raw materials for pretty much any purpose you can think of. And then on top of that, the carbon sequestration capabilities of the hemp plant is the best in the whole plant kingdom. So we're talking about removing a lot of carbon out of the air, and we're actually setting up a methodology to have a very credible way of doing that. All of our farms this season, which is going to be over 20 different farms that we'll be working with, growing over 1,000 acres of hemp fiber, will all have sensors on their plots, which will actually track anything you can pretty much think of when it comes to the plant.
I want to inspire people to be able to understand what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
And illustrating it is one thing, and talking about it is another.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I've been looking at this for a long time, and I got very excited that you actually are doing it.
Yeah, and that's we're blessed to be in the position where we can utilize this plant in all of its capacities, and kind of some of this stuff I would say the West Coast is a little ahead. Some of the fiber stuff I would say Europe and some of these other countries are way ahead. We're kind of right in the middle, and we are doing a blend of all of it, and I feel like we're doing a good job picking a lot of the good stuff, leaving some of the bad stuff, which sadly some of the bad stuff to me is more on the political side of things, the way that money gets involved. And
Definitely. So take me somewhere that's interesting.
so, I mean, you can kind of look through this window if you would like. You can kind of see into our production facility.
Okay.
You can see our extractor. Some of our guys right now are doing
It's
some
okay to film
pre-rolls.
them?
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Okay.
So this is one of our renovated sections.
Yeah, when I came here.
Post-processing and.
Oh my gosh, you've done so much.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have people that you have to procure? I mean, that you're actually. How did you get to this point in terms of support and and people understanding your initiatives.
Yeah, I think the probably the biggest point to that would be like our networking ability. So we looked at the system, identified the main bottlenecks, which main bottleneck number one was processing, being able to take what all the farmers are doing, process it into legal, effective, compliant products, and be able to distribute them to the masses, which is helping the farmer and helping the end customer. So finding the bottlenecks in this system, we realized our role, which we have a little role in the entire system, but by pulling that network together, I think is what allowed us to actually make a lot of this a reality. Whereas, some of the other guys are kind of on their own, doing one aspect of the system compared to having knowledge base throughout and being able to connect more dots and connect more of the network.
Okay, so because maybe you remember my drawings of those figures and applying my many years of understanding how nature works, and then me doing landscape paintings and all that, and then just saying, oh my goodness, I really need clothing that's made out of something natural, because I can't personally wear polyester anymore. And then what am I doing with my art and all my knowledge base? I need to apply it to something, and I need it now.
Yeah.
Well, here's why I'm saying all that, because what I'm asking you personally is, do you think you're at this level of taking the processing material, and for instance, I just got this offer, I had an idea, so I talked to Susan, who is the manager and part owner of the XR Park, about bus depots benches, because I noticed, on foot, I was walking around Charlottesville, they don't have any benches. They just have this pole that tells you a bus is coming.
Wow.
So, putting solar panel up there for light and being able to use hemp as a material like plastic.
Yep.
Are you at that point where you can do something like that?
So at this very stage, we can't do that yet. The good news is we can see the path to that and the steps to it. So we're starting with some of the low-hanging fruit and this kind of stuff. Some of these markets for hemp fiber and hemp hurd, which the hemp hurd is the inside core of the hemp plant, those are already actually defined. But right now it's being imported from Holland, all around the world at very, very high rates, very costly, and it's also, all these ships are polluting a tremendous amount just moving material across. Why not keep it local, regional, and do it that way? So we're starting with the low-hanging fruit, which is like animal bedding, which you can take that raw material, put it on the ground. It's very good for the animals. It works much better than all the other kind of stuff. All the way, to sustainable packaging, which is like any kind of box you could imagine being made out of hemp fiber, to hempcrete, which is, concrete is the third highest producing process in the whole world. It's extremely bad.
This is so much progress. Since I spoke to you 2 years ago, you were like, I don't know if we're going to be able to get to this point now. And here you are.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of you, first of all. And second of all, I'm so excited. You have a family as well, right?
Yeah. Everyone that's working with this right now is family at this point.
But you have your own kids.
Yeah.
So you're really looking forward to the future.
Oh, yeah.
More than anybody, you are doing things that is productive for the future for everybody. And certainly for your kids to be able to be on a healthy planet.
Yeah.
And the more you grow the hemp, the better the greenhouse gases get eliminated. So how many farmers do you have by now?
So, and this is a really good question for my brother. He's the cultivation director. We're picking up new farmers every day. We've actually got a workshop tomorrow where we, talk about the ins and outs, best practices, get equipment sharing going, talk about seed costs, talk about planting densities and all these things that, the farmers are like, oh, I can handle this, I can do this. From the outside in, hemp, I don't know about it, I'm not sure. Well, here's where we are, where we teach them and why they should be sure, why it's good for not only the environment, but also their bottom line, which most farmers around this area and pretty much in the United States are struggling. They're having to do things they don't believe in to the land to get the yields they need to survive. They're leaning on the government when they don't necessarily want to in some capacities. And having hemp as an alternative is not only lighting the fire under some of these older guys, which in Virginia I think the average age of a farmer is 67, 68, and they can't get their kids or their grandkids to stay on the farm. They all want to go do their thing. Hemp is changing that. They're seeing it, they're saying, hey, look, this is different, look what we can do. And the younger generation saying, wow, I've heard this plant was terrible, and here it is actually saving the planet. Maybe I can get behind this. So that's been super exciting to see. I think we're up over 25 farmers at this point, just on the fiber side of things. We have about 4 that do the CBD production for us.
So you're really understanding the marketing of this to be able to make enough funds to support the farmers,
Yep.
with products, and then, the farming itself. Thank you very much for
Yeah,
your
of
time.
course.
All right.
My pleasure.
You too.
So my name is Jacob Johnson. I'm the cultivation director here at Shenandoah. I've gotten into, I've always been a big proponent of gardening, working with plants. So then after my time in college at James Madison University, I was studying sports recreation management and a business minor. I went out into an internship out west, and I was at a ski and snowboard club, actually, or shop. And from there, I was working there part-time, getting my stuff done for school, but then also dabbling into cannabis production on the cultivation side. So it was a medical operation as well as a recreational outdoor operation that I had the chance to work in. So I learned a lot about the cultivation of cannabinoids out west.
Was that an institution or something that you did?
A couple different companies and some buddies that had some stuff going on. Blissful Botanical is the big one that I was working at. Yeah.
So how young are you?
I am 28 years old, going to be 29 here in May.
And you're already a genius.
I wouldn't say that. We're learning a lot. We have a really blessed opportunity to work on an awesome project, and we have a lot of passion for it. So
do you feel like it's almost like you guys were meant to do this?
Oh, 100%. I feel it all the
Like
time.
every step of the way, something sort of just profound set your vision.
100%. We've had so many different blessings along this journey that we couldn't be more thankful for. A lot of people have taken the effort to get cannabis where it is, to get it to where we could operate here in Virginia. And we're grabbing the torch and running with it the best we can, doing with passion, pride, integrity, a brotherhood.
But the history of cannabis, or the history of hemp, we used to use it. We used to use it for everything, right?
Yeah, here in Virginia and Jamestown in particular, they used to grow, I think, at least 100 plants of hemp each year. A lot for the ropes that they would be able to provide from the bast fibers. Now, flashing forward, it's been deemed as, illegal for a long time. Not too many people were working with it. We lost some genetics that do well here domestically, but that program is being revived. It's something that we've been doing the last 2 years, is cultivation of industrial hemp fiber in particular.
So you have bioengineers here as well?
No, we're all just, self-taught, self-driven. We have a lot of different background and experience. We got a good team working through this stuff, and we have a good network where we reach out to. There's engineers, there's doctors. We have access to tons of different people, and we talk to them and we learn from them, and then we apply that to what we have going on here.
So annually, how do you do that? Do you actually have you go to conventions, or do you have meetings?
Early on in our career, we were attending any convention. We traveled across the nation, went to Oregon, Colorado, California, New York, Texas, all these places to, gauge the industry, see where people are at. In the last couple of years, we've been so laser focused on our project in particular, using the whole plant, so the industrial side as well as the cannabinoids, that we haven't really been attending any expos or events. We're always prying knowledge from people that we know in our network. We also host workshops here in the space that we're talking right now. We've been doing some cultivation workshops, bringing in farmers here in the area, trying to learn about the industrial cultivation of hemp. So that way we can grow it well, take it upstream, process it, take it to final products.
Yeah, so for my background, very minimal, but I was trying to find out how to make hemp fiber material for apparel, and because I can't wear polyester anymore. I just can't. I can't breathe in it. And so that's kind of how I launched, where is this fiber? I know Patagonia was blending it with polyester, but they haven't really done the pure form and all that kind of stuff. But what I want to say is the most expensive thing or part of it was the transportation. And when Virginia opened up, I was like, oh, maybe I can stay here and actually do what I want to do.
Nice.
So what you experience with the farmers, Tana was saying something about it's very difficult to get them to do the processing or to farm because there's not a lot of subsidy, or there isn't any subsidy.
Yeah, so farming comes with a lot of different challenges. We have a lot of risk with Mother Nature, crops in general. So it's always a challenge identifying some of the stuff with cultivation. In particular, seeds are a hard thing to come by for the hemp side of things. Equipment, we haven't had any time to identify specialized equipment. We've been doing that the last couple of years, so now we're improving our efficiencies through planting and harvesting. Again, just identifying all these different challenges, bringing in a new industry or something that was once done, bringing it back and understanding it in today's age.
Because, and it's absolutely different, the climate. It's so unpredictable right now.
Yeah.
And we have rain bombs and this and that. So what I want to say is in 4 months of 90 degree and above. So we really do have to adapt. And then in the last 2 years, I mean, this is crazy. When I came here, it was just like I can't tell you, how did you do all this?
A lot of hard work.
You have patience, right?
Yeah.
You know that this is a process. You're going to give yourself another, 5 years at least to be able to manage the environment and the climate changes.
Yeah, we're learning each year, and we've been.
But you have a problem with the farmers sticking to it because they can't make money?
I wouldn't say the industry has been so crazy. A lot of people got into hemp production for CBD production. So in 2019, 2020 season, I think there was 2,000 farmers. 98% were growing CBD production. It was
Virginia?
In Virginia,
What?
in Virginia
I didn't
alone.
even know.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
goodness.
it was a big CBD boom. And
So here, just tell me again. So there's a difference between the female plant and the male plant.
yeah, and
And you can't farm next to each other.
no, you can, and we've done that. So we have greenhouses where we do our CBD production crop, the female plants typically that produce the high potency CBD and other cannabinoids. We do CBG, CBC.
And one more thing I just thought of.
Yeah.
You also have to take off the furry stuff, for it to the farming part of it, the hands-on.
Yeah.
Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so it's two different cultivation techniques when you're growing for cannabis or cannabinoid production versus the industrial side. I'd say the industrial side is kind of like a hybrid between haymaking and corn and soy planting. So it's like a row crop. We're doing 7.5, either 15 or 30-inch spacing, using drills to plant this stuff. And then we're coming back with haymaking equipment, cutting it down, baling it up in the field. And so that's the big difference. We're doing an industrial crop where we can use a lot of acres to produce a lot of material. We need a lot of bales. On the cannabinoid side, on 1 acre, we can produce a lot of cannabinoids, so we don't need as much production on the cannabis or cannabinoid space. And that's what a lot of people hopped into originally. So the misconception is there's no money to be made in hemp. Well, there is, but it's building out the infrastructure on the industrial side, working with a lot of farmers. You mentioned that the climate's changing, so we're looking at carbon sequestration, reducing the carbon footprint on all these farms that we're working with in the ag space. as well as through processing. We're looking at sustainable processing techniques, and on the end stream, trying to enter in and offset a lot of carbon positive companies with the material that we're producing. So that's where the future is on the industrial side for a lot of people to get involved, a lot of farmers to get involved. We just have to keep building. In the last couple of years, we have been doing that, and we're taking steps this season to start to process that material and get that upstream.
Okay, here's my cluelessness question. So I always think, I do gardening, I walk in the woods, I've been studying farms, painting farms, doing all kinds of, so I kind of have this conversation with people who are, doing green processing of some sort. Like, what do you do with the waste? Like, for instance, I see like people now having their own little gardens of hemp because they actually want to use it, and they have all this fiber, I think,
Yeah.
like stems and stuff like
The herd,
that.
yeah.
And then I say to them, what do you do with it? Is there a processing of those things? Like,
Yeah, exactly. So we utilize the full plant. There's hardly any waste or byproducts. We can find an avenue and a channel for all the materials that are coming off our processing lines, right?
You're kidding me.
No, for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. So the plant material on the cannabinoid side that goes through our extraction, we call it post-carb material. There's still about 0.5% to 2% CBD content in some of that material. So we're working to store some of that stuff, get it pelletized, and then eventually send it to animal feed for horses or whatever type. So we're kind of storing that stuff as that market opens up, because there's
What do you mean, animal feed? What about people feed? I see them in the supermarket.
Yeah. So
Hemp
that
seed,
well,
hemp-
so
hemp
that
hulls.
byproduct in particular is coming off the extractor, and that's what
Wow.
the application would be for would be animal feed. And then on the flip side of that, we have the industrial side where we have the seed. That seed is very great protein, omega-3s, fatty acids.
Yeah.
You can deshell it. You have a hemp heart. You have a hemp seed
that,
oil.
like a cereal or something yourself personally?
Not yet. But we buy it all the time. We put it into our protein shakes. We've been working with a couple different equipment manufacturers. So like they send us samples of stuff that they've cleaned. So we have domestic seeds that we eat ourselves, and we're trying to get to the point where we can produce some of that stuff through our own brand. The seed stuff and the feed and the human consumption, animal consumption is a couple of years out. What we're focusing on in the next couple of years is the herd and the bast fibers for like the textiles, the rope, the
Yes,
paper, the
that's where
insulation.
I'm gonna come back and get some.
Yeah, at some point, so we're going to be processing in the next 2 months, which is a big step forward for the industry. We got a good amount of bales to get processed. We're going to have end buyers chomping at the bit for our material. So we're really excited to keep moving forward.
So thank you so much for being on Charlottesville Public Access TV.
Thanks for having me.